Are we live? What's going on, everyone? What's up, guys? Let me just do the health check if we're live. Alright, we're live on Twitch. We're live on my website. How's everyone doing, man? Yeah, we're live on the website.
Are we live?
Oh, I can hear myself. Everyone? What's up, guys? Alright, we're live, boys. We are live. Hope you're all doing good, man, on the Saturday nights. What's up, everybody? How you all doing, boys? We're going to get into these prop bets real quick. Just give people a little bit of time to arrive. And then we'll get into these props. This is going to be a good one, man. This is going to be one of the best prop bet live streams I've ever done. Could all end in tears, could lose every bet and get absolutely fucking destroyed. It's possible. It happens. But this is an above average event for prop bets, which is great news, man. How's everyone doing, boys? What's up, Scott? What's up, Anthony? What's up, Broadcastful? What's up, Garrett? What's up, Parlons? I owe Parlons a response to his email, dude. Don't worry, Parlons. I've got you tonight, mate. Don't worry, bro. I'm going to email you back. Everything's going to be taken care of, mate. Don't worry. Garrett Murray is saying, my one question, I'm stumped. When's the last time a 5-round fight went to a decision? Did that Cater Holloway fight go to a decision? Pretty sure it did, right? Chiesa Magni, I think that went to a decision as well. Right? Quite often recently. Anyway, alright, boys. Let's get this going. Let's get it going. Let's go. Let's go. Probably expecting Long Beach in the house. What's up, MMA locker room? Good to see you, boys. We'll give some people some time to... What's up, Anthony, mate? We'll give this a little bit more time. Get some more people in here. To be fair, though, I don't think people give a fuck about this event, right? People don't seem to care about this event. As far as I can see, people don't really give a fuck about this this event this week for whatever reason. I think it's a great event. 14 fights, nice competitive matchups, boys. We'll take that all day long. All right, fuck it. We won't wait any longer, boys. We won't wait any longer. Let's get into it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's go. So we'll start off with the usual boring disclaimer for prop bets, where basically prop bets are risky as fuck. They're fraught with crazy variance and crazy swings, and it's dangerous to bet them. So on each of the prop bet pages that I've got on my website, I've got these lengthy disclaimers which they basically explain to you like the crazy swings that you can get on prop bets, just purely because of how unpredictable MMA could be, right? So if we think about MMA, it's hard enough to make money betting on, you know, which fighter is going to win, you know, this dude or this dude. So when you actually introduce method of victory on top of that, it's another layer of variables, which makes things even harder in an already chaotic sport. So now we're not just looking at betting who's going to win, we're going to bet how they're going to win. That adds another very, very big layer of unpredictability. Because of that, I have a very different strategy for betting on props. I kind of written my philosophy out here. My strategy for betting props is, rather than to take that sniper approach where you identify specific fighters who have major advantages over their opponent and you go big and aggressive on them, my philosophy on prop bets is you're much better off looking for high risk, high reward situations to put your money. And even though you're not really ever going to be betting on the most likely outcomes, or you're rarely going to be betting on the most likely outcomes, the risk to reward that you're getting for what you bet over the long term should help you bank a pretty decent profit. The problem is, because you're betting on high risk, high reward bets, they can go through massive swings and massive losing streaks and massive periods where you get killed. You know, it's not unusual on an event for me to lose every single prop bet. My strategy being, if I have, say, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 prop bets for a card, if I hit one I'm going to be at a small loss. If I hit 2, I'm going to be at a small profit. If I hit 3, 4, or 5, I'm in huge profits. And so the strategy that I take for prop bets is to kind of take like a spread betting approach, where if you think about the spin of a roulette wheel, you know, you don't want to be going big on, you know, the ball to land on 13 black, right? A better strategy is to spread your money out across lots of different numbers in the hope that, you know, the ball will land on one of your numbers and you'll win more than you lose. Now, obviously in roulette, the house has the advantage, but in betting, or betting on MMA, betting on sports, we have the advantage because we do the research, we know a lot about sports, and we can kind of cherry pick those prop bets where there's a lot of additional value. But because we're not betting on the most likely outcome, losses and lots of losses are to be expected. So you don't want to be coming into this prop bet live stream thinking, you know what I mean, I'm going to be betting on all of these props and I'm expecting a high number of them to win. That ain't happening. Like, if I win between 1 and 3 of these props, I'm very, very happy with that. So just to set your expectations, the majority of these props are going to lose, because we're not looking at betting on things like, we're not looking at betting on Chris Daukaus to win by knockout, because the odds are fucking terrible. That's the most likely prop to hit on that fight. But it's a highly specific outcome, right? We're not just betting on Daukaus to win, we're also betting on how he's going to win. I'm not interested in that. I'd much rather go for something like Daukaus to win by submission at 21.0. Super high risk, super high reward. We only have to win one of those bets per card to be in profit. That's my rationale. And when it comes to prop bets, it's very, 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 very important to remember that gambling is a form of entertainment. So the reason why I even created these prop bets in the first place is because some of my members would ask me for, like, you know, little fun bets to place on every fight, because, you know, we take betting so seriously, you know, so seriously on this channel, the depth that we go into. We forget that a lot of people just bet on fights for fun, to make watching the events and watching the fights more interesting. You know, entire cities were built on entertainment for gambling, right? Las Vegas, Atlantic City, Macau. So prop bets are a really good way where you could just bet a little bit of money on each fight to give you a vested interest in the fight. They make watching the fight more interesting, and obviously if you hit those winners, it's great. But you know, prop bets are a great way to make watching fights more interesting. So this is kind of like that one piece of content we produce every week, which isn't that serious. We could all chill, we could all relax, could all throw some money around and be a little bit looser than we usually are. And the benefit is that we know from the results, long term we will be profitable, but there's going to be big swings along the way. So speaking of that, here is the profit and loss chart from prop bets, and you can see it's the ugliest fucking chart you've ever seen in your life. Been tracking results for about 2 years now, and the swings are mental, up and down and up and down and up and down. That's just the way it is with props. However, like I say, high risk, high reward, and they make watching the fights more fun. Now, the boring stuff is out the way. What I will say, please don't confuse what I'm going to say by increasing your expectations, but I do think this is the best event for prop bets that I've seen in months. I was doing these props, you know, throughout the week, because what I tend to do is I'll research a fight and I'll add a prop bet to my website for that fight, so they're all already written up. We'll go through them one by one. But, you know, don't confuse me saying this is the best event for prop bets in months as me being more confident than usual. By me saying this is the best event for props in months, I'm not saying I'm confident we're going to make a profit on these props tonight, but what I am saying is the value on some of these props is fucking stupid. Like, the value on some of these props, I'm not saying we're going to make a profit, but the odds are so off on some of these props that is just crazy value, man. So this is, in my opinion, the best week for props in months. And I'm glad you're here to watch these with me, man. And as we go, you know, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the chat. And, you know, once we're done, we will, we will answer your questions and shit. We're going to go through it one by one. And as we go through the props, I'll give you my rationale. Remember, we're not betting on most likely outcomes. We're betting on props with a high risk, high reward. So the first prop we're going to talk about, Chaz Skelly versus Jamal Emmers. I really... Oh, and one more tiny disclaimer. When I do put the prop bets in the site, just to keep things simple, I've got a disclaimer here. Where are we? About liquidity. Liquidity. Where are we? If I just do... Yeah, okay, liquidity. Prop bets on liquidity is very, very low, which means, does it take much money to move the odds on these props? Throughout the week, I write the props in the website for like my members to tail throughout the week. But the problem is, because they've been posted throughout the week, I haven't got a fucking clue what the odds on these props are now. To keep things simple, and because the odds on props differ dramatically from site to site, I just take whatever odds are available on 5Dimes when I lock the prop in. So if I'm giving you props now and you're seeing dramatically different odds on your betting site, I'm really sorry. I can't do much about it. That's just the way props are. They're low liquidity lines, and the odds can move a lot in a short space of time. Last week, when we did last week's prop bet stream, the odds were actually moving during the stream as people watching the stream would go out to bet stuff. So anyway, let's get into it now. Anyway. Alright, first one, Chaz Skelly, Jamal Emmers. I really like Chaz Skelly to win by submission at odds of 7.50 plus 650. Because Jamal Emmers is primarily a wrestler. He's got a base in wrestling, but his wrestling is very, very green. Jamal Emmers likes to stand and strike more now. You know, if you were to watch his last sort of 3 or 4 fights, you would view Jamal Emmers as a striker because the majority of his fights stay standing. But Jamal Emmers' base as a fighter is his grappling, and for that reason, throughout his fights, you'll always see Jamal Emmers shoot a takedown instinctively and get his opponents to the ground. Now, Chaz Skelly's pretty low-level striking, tends to slow down as the fight goes on. Not even a particularly strong wrestler, to be honest with you. But Chaz Skelly, the one thing Chaz Skelly does well is that he's a very, very dangerous submission grappler. And so, even though Skelly's likely to struggle standing and is likely to, get tired as the fight goes on, Skelly's one of these guys, a little bit like Damian Maia, that even when he gets very, very tired, it's like a fucking fly flying into a spider's web. Even if you take him down deep into the third round of a fight when he's gassed out of his mind, he's very, very dangerous on the ground. And because Jamal Emmers is one of these guys that came from, a grappling background, and he instinctively does try to take his opponents down from time to time, even when he's doing well standing, that creates a window of opportunity for Skelly to submit him throughout the entire duration of the fight. It's also worth noting that Emmers isn't particularly dangerous, and even though Skelly slows down as the fight goes on, Skelly is tough as fuck. He's one of these guys that, because he's used to gassing out, he's still somewhat capable even when he gets very tired, just because he's so used to being tired in his fights. And so Skelly will be dangerous late on into the fight, if the fight goes to the ground. And Emmers is a very, very green grappler. We don't know a lot about his submission defense, but you could just tell by the way he wrestles, he's a little bit loosey-goosey. And so if Skelly traps him in a bad position, I don't really have that much confidence in Emmers being able to work his way out of it. So Skelly to win by submission, tremendous value prop bet. I absolutely love this. I think it's an absolute steal. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one is going to be, so Eddie Weinland versus John Castaneda. I absolutely love this prop as well. And again, as I'm going through these props, I'm just seeing how brilliant this event is for prop bets. John Castaneda to win by knockout or TKO at odds of 6.0 plus 500. It's absolutely crazy to me. If we take a look at Eddie Weinland's record, and I can kind of paint you the picture of why I like this prop bet so much. Let's bring this up here. Let's bring it up in this tab right here. So Eddie Weinland is one of these guys that, for the most part, Father Time hasn't really caught up with him, despite the fact that he's been consistently competing against the best fighters in the world for the last 12 years, despite the fact that he's had, almost 40 pro fights, and despite the fact that he's 36 years old, which is very, very old for a bantamweight, because we know in the lighter weight classes, fighters tend to rely a lot on speed, athleticism, reflexes, which are the things that tend to go first as you get older. despite these challenges, Weinland still moves very well. He still reads his opponent very well. He's got good reflexes, good footwork, good head movement, even at this stage in his career. However, the one thing that is starting to let him down, the one thing the Father Time is starting to catch up with him on, is his chin. He has started to get, rocked, dropped, wobbled, knocked out a lot. Weinland was a guy that just relied on his ability to read his opponent, come forward, hands down low, chin up high, and just roll with the punches, use head movement and footwork to evade his opponent's strikes or at least take the sting off them. When Eddie Weinland suffered a broken jaw back in 2014 against Johnny Eduardo, you saw a definite shift in his durability to the point where now he gets rocked, dropped, wobbled a lot. We saw him get wobbled, 2 or 3 times early in the second round against Popov. We saw him get wobbled before he got knocked out by O'Malley, and O'Malley completely death-shotted him. So Weinland is one of these guys that has built his entire career around being able to rely on his chin to take a shot and continue coming forward. But that chin is starting to let him down now. Now, Castaneda is not a particularly dangerous striker. He's more of like a volume kickboxer. You can see on his record, he doesn't have many wins by knockout. However, I believe that's had an influence on the odds. I think the bookies have just wiki capped this one a little bit, seen that Castaneda doesn't have many wins by knockout, and that's why they're being quite generous with the odds on this one. I think that's a steal at 6.05 plus 500, simply because there's one thing that Castaneda does very well that I think can cause Eddie Weinland the problem, and that's Castaneda covers distance very, very quickly. So when you watch Castaneda, for the most part, he's happy to just fight in kickboxing range and chip away at his opponent. However, he does this thing where he blitzes forward very quickly and catches his opponent. He just covers distance fast and catches his opponent with a single power punch very, very quickly, and they just don't see it coming because it's a fast level change. It's almost like he lures guys into a false sense of security by just chilling in kickboxing range with them and exchanging these short shots, and then boom, covers distance, lands a big power strike. Now, the punches, the shots that really hurt you are the ones you don't see coming. And the way Castaneda covers distance so quickly, I think can give Weinland big, big, big trouble. We saw Weinland get caught cold in his fight against Sean O'Malley, knocked out very, very bad. And that was down to how quickly O'Malley was able to cover distance and deliver the power of that right hand. I think Castaneda can do something similar. At those odds, it's an absolute steal. And on top of that, we always talk about how fighters are, they're like batteries, right? You buy a battery from the store and you fucking put it in your remote control car, or wherever the fuck you put it in, your TV remote, and every single time you use it, the charge goes down a little bit and it never recovers, right? Every single time a fighter has a fight, takes damage, has an injury, has a weight cut, gets knocked out, takes a little bit of charge out their battery. And you know what it's like, man. You put that battery in the torch. Once that battery starts to go flat, that light flickers, that torch don't work as good. That's kind of the situation I think we may be seeing Weinland in, where his chin can't take a shot like he used to. He's probably going to be even less durable after that really bad knockout loss against Sugar Sean O'Malley, and that opens the door for Castaneda to knock him out tonight. So I hope you found that one useful, boys. Let's now get into the next one. I'll try and be a bit quicker. Maybe boys, let me know. Am I talking too much? Is this too much depth for you? Am I talking too much? Let me know, because I could just give you simple explanations if you want. But the problem is, when I give simple explanations, people are like, oh, you didn't mention this and you didn't mention that. You're a fraud. You don't know what you're talking about. So I can simplify it for you if you want, boys, to get through this faster. Just let me know. But anyway, we'll go into the next one. Julian Erosa against Nate Landwehr. Funny, the research process for this fight was really, really funny, because I went into it leaning towards Landwehr. And then I researched a couple of Erosa's fights, and I couldn't believe how bad Erosa's boxing defense was. Like, literally, any time someone throws a punch at Erosa, they land. Like, Erosa just can't see anything coming, and he can't get out the way. His boxing defense is appalling. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool, because I leaned towards Landwehr initially. Now I definitely lean even more towards Landwehr, because Julian Erosa's boxing defense is garbage. Then I went and watched Nate Landwehr, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I didn't think it was possible to have worse striking defense than Julian Erosa, but somehow Nate Landwehr has achieved it. Both these guys are fucking terrible when it comes to boxing defense. But because of that, this fight has got fight of the night written all over it. Neither of these guys is a particularly strong offensive wrestler. Neither of these guys ever tries to take their opponents down. These boys are going to meet in the middle of the octagon, play rock'em sock'em robots, and because both guys are extremely bad defensively, the probability of one of these two getting themselves knocked out is super high. So pick your poison, man. Take Erosa by knockout. Pick Landwehr by knockout. I don't give a fuck. Personally, I'm going for Landwehr by knockout or TKO. Just because I think it's more likely Landwehr wins by knockout. Just because I feel Landwehr is a bit more durable. He could take a shot better than Erosa. On top of that, he's a better boxer than Erosa. Erosa's got much more of a kick-space style of striking. And on top of that, Landwehr's got a lot more power in his hands than Erosa does. Erosa's more of a volume puncher, whereas Landwehr, you know, he does have decent power in his hands. Having said that, Erosa does have a pretty nasty head kick. And with how bad Landwehr is defensively, he's unlikely to see that coming. So, Landwehr by knockout or TKO. Again, good value on this. I don't know what the odds are now. Maybe they've declined, but that's a decent prop to me. We now move on to the next one. Again, this is fucking bonkers, boys. There's so much value on these props. I don't know if these props are going to be profitable tonight. I honestly have no idea, boys. But I can tell you that there's just so much value on these props. It's insane. So Casey ONeil versus Shayna Dobson. Casey ONeil to win by submission at odds of 9.0 plus 800. It's just fucking outrageous. It's just stupid odds. It's absolutely stupid. There's so much value here. It's insane. And I'm not telling you, like, please don't confuse please don't confuse my enthusiasm as confidence. I'm not confident in these bets, but I do know the odds are way off and we're getting great value here. Casey ONeil to win by submission at 9.0 plus 800. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. At the end of the day, Casey ONeil has a base in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She's not the most dangerous submission grappler, but she is aggressive, she is persistent, and she will bring it non-stop, action-packed, big drama show for 15 minutes. She's going to keep coming, and when she's on the ground, she loves to take the back and aggressively pursue that rear naked choke. We know Shayna Dobson's takedown offense isn't great. We know Shayna Dobson's ground game isn't great. ONeil will be constantly fishing for the submission for the entire time that this fight is on the ground, and it's very likely that a big chunk of this fight will be contested on the ground because ONeil's going to want to get this fight to the ground. Dobson's takedown offense is very, very bad. So, again, I don't know if ONeil's going to win this fight by submission, but those odds are absolutely bonkers because Dobson's a very low level on the ground and ONeil is going to be testing that submission defense. I absolutely love that prop. On to the next one. Ayman Zahabi versus Draco Rodriguez. And again, the odds on this, the odds are short on this, don't get me wrong. 4.0 plus 300 doesn't get me that excited. Not like these ones with a much better risk to reward ratio. But Ayman Zahabi to win by decision is just a really, really good value bet. Because we don't know a lot about Draco Rodriguez, right? If we take a look at Rodriguez's recent fights, there's not that much footage available on him. Haven't really seen any of his striking in his past fights. He seems like just one of these BJJ guys that wants to be on his back where he can fish for long shot submissions. We know Zahabi, training at TriStar, he's not easy to take down. He's got... Excuse me, boys, 2 seconds. Oh, nice one, boys. We'll keep it going with the detail. Yes, boys. Yes, yes, yes. Nice one, nice one. Nice one, Drew P. Nice one, dude. Nice one. Anyway, Ayman Zahabi. We know he trains at TriStar. Good submission defense. Good takedown defense. Draco Rodriguez is primarily a grappler, but he's not a wrestler. He's a BJJ guy. Likes to be on his back, fishing for long shot submissions. It won't be easy to get this fight to the ground. And Zahabi's probably going to be pretty comfortable from top position if Rodriguez does get the fight to the ground. Like I say, Rodriguez is okay. He's nothing special. We don't know a lot about his striking. What we do know about Zahabi is that he's overly tactical. Very, very passive, low volume striker. Typical TriStar guy. Likes to just chip away at his opponents throughout the fight and then try and steal the rounds late on with some late action in the final 30 seconds to a minute of a round. So I absolutely love Zahabi by decision, Because based on past performances, it's very, very likely that Ayman Zahabi is better than Draco Rodriguez everywhere. But Zahabi's not particularly dangerous, and Zahabi doesn't have that killer instinct, doesn't have much power in his hands, not particularly aggressive on the ground. Zahabi's just kind of trying to outpoint you and win a decision. But it's possible that he's better than Rodriguez everywhere, so there's a very, very good chance that Zahabi can just use his takedown defense in reverse to keep the fight standing, chip away at Rodriguez in striking range, take the fight to a decision and win an easy decision. I absolutely love Zahabi by decision. That's probably the safest bet out of all the props so far. I love that one. Value for days, boys. We now go on to the next one. Sergey Spivak against Jared Vandeira. So, again, the odds on this are just utterly fucking bonkers, boys. This, I'm telling you, man, I don't know if we're going to make a profit on these. Every single one of these bets can lose, boys. But some of these are value for fucking days. Sergey Spivak to win by knockout or TKO at 7.0 plus 600. It's just madness. It's absolute madness. If you go and watch Jared Vandeira's fights, every single one of his performances is the same. He stands very, very flat-footed. He's very, very slow. He's got no power in his hands. He's primarily a grappler, but he's got no drive on his takedown entries. All his takedowns come above hip height, which makes it extremely unlikely he's going to be able to get Spivak down. And we've seen Spivak make huge improvements from fight to fight. Every time we see Sergey Spivak, he improves by an order of magnitude from his previous performance. I mean, look at this. Spivak, in his last performance, beat Carlos Felipe by split decision. And I don't know about you guys, but Carlos Felipe is an extremely talented heavyweight. A very, very good striker. Carlos Felipe is one of the best boxers in the heavyweight division. And yet Spivak went toe-to-toe with him, stood in front of him for 15 minutes and outstruck him. That speaks volumes, because Carlos Felipe is light years ahead of Vandeira on the feet. We're talking fucking different galaxies and solar systems. Spivak is so much better. Sorry, Felipe is so much better than Vandeira. Vandeira's striking is so basic. He's so slow. He's so easy to hit. And while Spivak isn't that dangerous, doesn't carry much power in his hands for a heavyweight, he's not that aggressive. I admit, Spivak hasn't looked that dangerous standing. But again, I feel we've got a major case of wiki capping going on here. He went the distance with Carlos Felipe, I get it. But Felipe, one of the best boxers in the heavyweight division. He went the distance with Marcin Tybura, I get it. But Tybura's a pretty decent offensive wrestler, and Spivak had to spend long periods of that fight on his back. It is worth noting that when that fight was in kickboxing range, Tybura was in some trouble from time to time. Submitted Tuivasa, but obviously Tuivasa's a tough Aussie, man. Fucking chin from hell. Got knocked out by Walt Harris. It is what it is. Point I'm trying to make, boys, I think there's more wiki capping going on here, where the bookies have looked at Spivak go the distance with Tybura, the distance with Felipe, and they've assumed this guy's not that dangerous. I agree with them, he isn't, but that doesn't change the fact that Vandeira doesn't really have the skills to stand in front of Spivak for 15 minutes without getting lit up. So I actually fucking love this bet, and I would say that is probably the best one so far. That even beats Zahabi by decision, and the value just keeps coming, man. The value is just legendary, boys. On to the next fight, Danny Chavez versus Jared Gorton. I've got Danny Chavez to win by knockout at TKO at odds of 3.30 plus 230. So again, this is one of those bets, like the Ayman Zahabi one, where it's one of those rare occasions where we're not taking the props that have got a really high risk, really high reward. We are zoning in and getting a little bit specific here. But from my perspective, Jared Gorton is so fragile. We see him get rocked, dropped, wobbled in every single one of his fights. And Danny Chavez is an extremely dangerous striker. Very fast, very explosive, throws a wide range of strikes. And again, the punches that hurt you, the ones that knock you out, are the ones you don't see coming. Chavez is very technical, very unorthodox, very, very, very fast. I just don't see Gorton being able to survive for 15 minutes with this guy standing. And Gorton's not the best offensive wrestler. Chavez's takedown offense has shown flashes of being really good. I just don't see any way that Gorton's going to be able to survive in front of this guy for 15 minutes. And if Gordon can't get this fight to the ground, which I'm dubious as to whether he can, I think Chavez is going to KO this guy real bad. So I do love Chavez to win by knockout or TKO. And there's just value for days on these boys. Value for days. Another bit of wiki capping going on for the next one. Alright, boys. Another bit of value. This is another one of my, like, literally one of my favourite. This is literally one of my favourite props on the whole card. Luis Pena to win by knockout or TKO at odds of 8.12 plus 712. It's fucking bonkers, boys. There's just so much value there. It's stupid. It's actually stupid. And again, it's just more wiki capping going on, which is why you can make so much money betting on MMA, because so many people, like the bookies, just wiki cap the odds. And because the majority of people that bet MMA don't actually research fights, they just perpetuate the problem. Like, the odds don't get corrected because people just fucking wiki cap their balls off and they don't actually understand what is going on from a stylistic point of view in these matchups. So I can understand why, you know, Luis Pena to win by knockout or TKO is extreme plus money. Because if you look at this from a wiki capping perspective, it looks like, you know, Pena winning by knockout or TKO is quite unlikely. You know, you look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 8 of Drakkar Klose's last 9 fights have gone the distance. So straight away I understand why people are thinking it's fucking unlikely that Pena knocks this guy out. Especially because when you look at Pena's record, he doesn't really have any wins by knockout or TKO. If we're wiki capping this, we could be like, this fucking fight ain't gonna... You know, Pena's not going to knock this guy out. Klose is tough. You know, difficult to finish. He's got a decent chin. Pena's not particularly dangerous standing by the look of it. He seems like more of a submission guy. You know, this is unlikely to hit. Let me fucking tell you something right now. From a stylistic point of view, this is very fucking likely to hit. Because if you go back and watch any of Drakkar Klose's fights, you will see that his strategy is the same in every single one of his fights. Comes forward in a straight line, hands down low, chin up high, blocking punches with his face, Homer Simpson style, to try and smother his opponents in pressure. That's Drakkar Klose's style every single time. He's incredibly predictable. Right there, boss. He's incredibly predictable, and you know exactly what you're going to get from him every single time. His striking defense is so bad, boys. It's really, really bad. If you go back and watch his fight against Beneil Dariush, you'll see him look incredibly reckless. Very, very reckless. He's there to be hit. Bad defensively. Just wide open to the KO. And Dariush made him pay. Completely death-shotted him. It was a real bad knockout. But if you go back and watch more of Drakkar Klose's fights against Giagos, Green, Venata, Tamur, you'll see that poor striking defense has been there for a very long time. He's incredibly easy to hit. Drakkar Klose relies on that Nate Diaz style of fighting where he just continuously comes forward, blocks punches with his face, and trusts his chin to be able to come forward, walk through whatever you're throwing at him, and wear him down, and hope that you basically slow down throughout the course of the fight, and just basically carry much less power in your hands because your arms fill up with blood, which means your shots don't have as much pop and power on them, and he can start to, you know, be at a lot less risk in the second and third round, right? It's just starting to wear down. Drakkar Klose relies on his ability, like Diaz, to keep coming forward and wear guys down. But we know that Luis Pena has a really good gas tank. We know that Pena is just as dangerous in round 1 as he is in round 3, and that he can bring it for 3 rounds. He's also a very unorthodox striker. You know, throws a lot of flying knees, you know, crazy spinning attacks, elbows. He's a tricky guy. And again, we always say it, the punches that knock you out are the ones you don't see coming. Klose doesn't read his opponent very well. He literally just comes forward in a straight line looking to break them, and he will be there. He will be there to be hit. Pena is dangerous, man. I'm telling you, he's dangerous. And the thing about Klose is his entire fighting style up until this point in his career has been trust in his chin, rely on his chin to keep coming forward and break his opponents in pressure. For the first time ever, that failed him really bad against Beneil Dariush. The reason why he got knocked out by Dariush is because he was literally chasing after Dariush, and he walked right onto a huge left hand and got knocked out bad. This is a really, really big deal. This loss here is an incredibly big deal because when you have a fighter that relies so much on their chin and toughness, and it gets them, through so many fights for so long and they could trust in their chin, they build up a sense of confidence in that chin that they could continue to rely on it. And when they get knocked out really bad and all of a sudden they're suffering, headaches for fucking weeks and cognitive issues and, a sore jaw and, they have those lingering effects from a really bad knockout that takes them weeks or months to get over. Straight away that plants a seed of doubt in their head and they start to lack confidence. And so for a guy like Drakkar Klose that's built his career on coming forward recklessly and putting an immense amount of pressure on his opponents and relying on his chin, if you take away his ability to do that because he doesn't have the confidence anymore to relentlessly come forward and walk through wherever his opponent throws at him, straight away it can completely adjust his fighting completely change his fighting style and make him a lot less effective. We need to see how Klose looks tonight, man, because not only can a bad knockout like that completely change a fighter's fighting style, confidence, durability, but it can also make them. It can also make them a lot less effective because that style that got them to the dance, that relentless pressure, that aggression, you take that away. If you haven't got the technical ability to do anything else, you're a pretty shit fighter. And to be fair, Klose is not a very good striker, not a very good grappler, no offensive wrestling, bad takedown defense, weak off his back. It's his chin, it's his toughness, and it's his work rate that what makes him effective. You take those things away, there's nothing else there. And that's super interesting to me because he's there to be hit. Pena's flashy, he's dangerous. And for that reason, the odds on Pena to win by knockout or TKO are 8.10 plus 710. They're fucking bonkers, boys. So much value here. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's fucking insane, boys. So anyway, on to the next one. So we're going to go with Andrei Arlovski to win by knockout or TKO at odds of 10.0 plus 900. And this is another prop that the Wiki Cappers will probably ignore. If you look at Tom Aspinall's record, he's been blowing through everyone in round one. He's been looking great, but that doesn't tell us a lot about him. Aspinall's one of the guys coming in this weekend that we really don't know anything about. All his fights have ended way too quick. We don't know anything about his takedown offense. We don't know anything about his ground game. We don't know anything about his gas tank. For all we know, Aspinall could be one of these guys with a shit gas tank that comes out super aggressive in round one. And if he doesn't get it done, gasses out bad after a round and fades hard. We just don't know enough about Aspinall to be sure. What we do know about Arlovski is even at this stage in his career, he's still tough as nails. He's got a great gas tank for a heavyweight. He's an intelligent fighter, and he's a huge step up in competition for Aspinall. Up until this point in Aspinall's career, he's been fighting a really, really low level of opponent. This is such a massive, enormous jump for him. And yes, I've no doubt that Aspinall can come forward and knock out Andrei Arlovski in 2 minutes. But if Arlovski's able to weather the storm, or weather the early storm, in a way that Aspinall's previous opponents haven't been able to do, what happens then? Aspinall doesn't have any experience going into the second and third round. All his fights have ended, all his fights over the last 5 or 6 years have ended in the first minute or two. What happens if Andrei weathers that early storm, takes this fight into the second and third round? We've never seen Aspinall hit hard. What happens if Arlovski dings him with a big right hand? Is he able to fight through it? We've never seen Aspinall get dropped. We've never seen Aspinall get taken down. So Arlovski to win by knockout or TKO at 10.0 plus 900 is such a good value play. You're not betting on it being the most likely outcome, but you're betting on all of the things that we don't know about Aspinall potentially going against him. So I absolutely love that bet. Aspinall is a complete and utter unknown tonight. And who knows, man, if this fight goes past the first round, maybe Aspinall doesn't turn out to be as good as we thought he is. And on top of that, one huge weakness that Aspinall has, which makes this bet even more attractive, we haven't seen a lot of Aspinall, but what we do know is he's very, very, very reckless. If you go and watch any of his recent fights, he comes forward very aggressively, hands down low, chin up high, doesn't move his head, pays no attention to what his opponent is doing and just looks to take him out. That's super risky, because he's there to be hit. And at the end of the day, in the heavyweight division, even an old guy like Andrei Arlovski, every heavyweight carries big power in their hands and enough power to turn their opponent's lights out with one shot. There's just an unbelievable amount of value here. I put it into the same category as ONeil to win by submission at 9.0 plus 800. Crazy value for days, boys. I absolutely love it. On to the next one. We are going to take Nasruddin Imavov. 2 secs, boys. Sorry about that, boys. Sorry for the background noise. Anyway, we are going to get into the next one. Nasruddin Imavov versus Phil Hawes. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out why we're going with Imavov to win in round 3 here. Odds of 13.0 plus 1200. In the breakdown video for this fight earlier in the week that I put out on YouTube, I talked about, some clues that exist to suggest that Phil Hawes has actually turned a corner in his career. And his gas tank won't be anywhere near as bad as it has been in the past. However, at the moment, it's unproven and it's inconclusive. So this bet is quite simple. We know that Hawes has a history of starting very strong and fading hard into the second and third round. So this bet is quite simply based on the fact that maybe Phil Hawes slows down again and maybe Imavov's able to make him pay for that and finish him late on. I didn't go for Imavov to win in round 2 just because Phil Hawes is still a pretty tough guy. There are signs that his cardio has improved quite a bit, in his last few fights. And on top of that, Imavov's not that dangerous. So I think there's a good chance that Hawes, survives into that third round if he does get tired. But, again, great value bet. Imavov to win in round 3. We'll take that all day long. Next one. Another one. Charles Rosa versus Darrick Minner. Rosa to win in round 3 at odds of 9.0 plus 800. Exactly the same rationale for betting on Imavov to win in round 3. We know Darrick Minner, just like Phil Hawes, is one of these guys that likes to come out the gate super aggressive, pour everything into getting a finish in round 1, and if he doesn't get that finish in round 1, he starts to fade a lot into the second and third round. Again, the reason why I decided to take Rosa to win in round 3 as opposed to Rosa to win in round 2 is just like Imavov, Rosa's not that dangerous. So likely Minner can go that extra step, make it into that third round. But if he's really, really tired, I like Rosa to be able to finish him in that third round. On to the next one. Ketlen Vieira against Yana Kunitskaya. We are going to go with Ketlen Vieira to win my knockout at TKO at odds of 8.0, which is plus 700. I like this bet because Yana Kunitskaya's striking defense, her boxing defense, is just very, very bad. Kunitskaya's style of striking is all focused around her kicking. And the way that she kind of masks the fact that her boxing defense is so bad is that she ties her opponents up, drives them into the cage and runs the clock down, wearing on him in the clinch in the cage. It's not going to be easy to do that against Ketlen Vieira. Vieira's big, strong, physically imposing. She doesn't accept being put in bad positions, and so Kunitskaya is not going to be able to alleviate the pressure that she would usually be under in kickboxing range by tying her opponent up, putting him in the clinch and running the clock down, because Vieira just ain't going to play that game. And in kickboxing range, Kunitskaya is a sitting duck. Very, very bad boxing defense. She's there to be hit. We saw Aspen Ladd drop her in the last fight. We saw Marion Renault inflict significant damage on her. Kunitskaya's boxing defense is very, very, very bad. And Vieira's one of the best boxers she's ever faced. Very aggressive, throws a high volume of punches, sits down hard on her shots, and will be looking to take Kunitskaya out. So I really, really like that prop bet as well. And then into the final one, boys. Into the final one. We're going to go for Curtis Blaydes to win in round 2 at odds of 5.5, which is plus 450. I do think that Derek Lewis, straight away, I just think this fight's going to be incredibly one-sided. I think Blaydes is going to take Lewis to Suplex City and absolutely ragdoll him. Lewis's takedown offense is very bad. Lewis's ground game is non-existent. He's like white belt level off his back. I just think Blaydes is going to take this guy down and do terrible things to him. Lewis is probably tough enough to survive round 1, but after being, chipped away at on the ground with heavy ground and pound from Blaydes for 3 or 4 minutes, I think we're going to start to see Lewis fade hard in that second round. I think it's very, very likely that Blaydes gets a finish in round 2. Round 1 maybe, round 2 a little bit more likely because Lewis has probably got enough in him to survive into the second round. But yeah, that is pretty much it, boys. Here are the parlays for this event. Again, just a little bit of fun. I don't expect these parlays to win, But there's the long shot parlay, the Hail Mary parlay, and the lottery ticket parlay. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed all that shit, boys. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, that is it. Hope you enjoyed it, boys. What are you saying? Anyone, any questions? Anything you want to say? Like I say, boys, this is the best. This is the best fucking week. This is the best week for prop bets I've seen in a long time, maybe even ever. The bookies have dropped the ball on these props in a big way. Got really really kind of maybe complacent with them. There's a tremendous amount of value. I mean, Andrei Arlovski to win by knockout at TKO at 10.0 against a guy that we literally don't know anything about. It's just insane. And like I say, I don't know if these props are going to make a profit, but fuck me, man. There's value all day. All day. So anyway, drop in any questions you've got on my website, in the VIP chat, in the public chat, in the Twitch chat, in the YouTube chat. Any questions, boys? Any questions? And we'll just work through them until my wife is done cooking my food, and then we'll be going to have a couple hours break before all the hard work carries on later on, boys. For live betting, man. Those I put on Twitter earlier on. Put on Twitter, boys. Let's check this out, man. I'm dead serious. This is helicopter season, man. My winning run live betting the UFC has been so tremendous that I'm starting to feel bad for the bookies. A lesser man may have gone easy on them tonight, but helicopters don't buy themselves. Boys, I'm dead serious. It's helicopter season. We made a profit on 19 of the last 20 events live betting the UFC. And I'm not playing games, boys. I need to buy a helicopter because the apocalypse is coming. Anyway, let's see what questions we've got. It's fucking helicopter season. We're all buying castles with underground bunkers. Let's fucking go, boys. Let's go. In case you didn't realise, I'm a little bit excited for tonight. 14 fights, loads of opportunities to make money live betting. I've doubled a couple of my account balances this month, so some of those account balances are looking fat. And with 14 fights tonight, just so many different opportunities to snipe some strong positions. I can't wait. Not a good event for pre-fight betting. That's the way it goes, but still plenty of opportunities live. And like I say, you're not going to get events which are going to be, great for pre-fight betting, great for props, great for over-unders, great for live. You're not going to get an event which is great for everything. Tonight's card looks very bad for pre-fight betting, but it looks great for props. It looks great for live betting. That's why, I'm happy now to take kind of like the investment approach to, kind of like the index fund approach to betting MMA, where we've got pre-fight bets, lab bets, prop bets, live bets. And so when an event is dead for one type of bet, the others will hopefully rise up and keep those account balances growing for us to keep us grinding out profits. I gotta be honest, I don't usually talk like this when it comes to props, but I'm very optimistic for these ones, man. There's some tremendous value in there. It's crazy. ONeil to win by submission at 9.0 plus 800. Are you fucking kidding me? It's absolutely crazy, boys. But anyway, let's scroll through these comments now if we've got some. We'll start off with Twitch. Don't think there's many people watching on Twitch. What have we got? Alright, not much on Twitch. Let's take a look at YouTube. I'll answer as many questions as I can, boys. Split Decisions is saying Ayman Zahabi to win by KO at plus 950. Rodriguez looked bad at the weigh-ins and also seemed to have a limp. Yeah, maybe, man. Zahabi's one of these guys that doesn't really open up, right? He doesn't really go for the kill, doesn't really go for the finish. Zahabi's not really a finisher for me, man. More of a decisionator. But I agree with you, man. Rodriguez doesn't look great. Martial arts fan is saying Spivak by submission. For me, mate, I don't like that. I don't like it. I much prefer Spivak to win by knockout or TKO. Just because if we look at Jared Vandera's Instagram, right? So Jared Vandera trains at Team Quest. Okay? He trains at Team Quest alongside... Where's our boy? There he is. Alongside Dan Henderson. Now, Team Quest have 2 or 3 decades of producing super high level MMA grapplers. I don't think I've ever seen a guy come out of Team Quest that couldn't grapple his ass off. We don't know a lot about Vandeira's grappling, but it's very, very unlikely that he's going to be able to cause it's very, very unlikely that a guy like Spivak, that's quite a low level on the ground, is going to be able to cause a Team Quest guy trouble on the ground. You think, name any Team Quest fighter, any of them, they're all a nightmare on the ground. Even if they're not particularly good at getting fights to the ground, if you take them down, they're all a bit of a nightmare. Even Sam Alvey is pretty skilled on the ground. He's deceptively skilled on the ground. Name one guy that's caused Sam Alvey a problem on the ground. I guarantee you can't think of anyone. These Team Quest guys are deceptively brilliant grapplers. And from what I've seen of Spivak, very, very low level ground game, super bad. I just don't see Spivak causing Vandeira a problem on the ground. What's up, Alex? Will Ostermeyer saying, have to lean closer, but after seeing the weigh-in, I don't know. I'm guessing you mean the size difference, right, dude? Size difference is massive, right? Happy Grower saying, anyone think that Blaydes will get tired at some point from taking Lewis down and maybe Lewis TKOs him? Very, very unlikely, dude, because what you've got to remember is in order for Blaydes to get tired, he's going to have to be forced to work hard. The problem is, if Blaydes is working hard, it's because Lewis has probably been put on his back. And with Lewis being taken down and carrying the body weight of Blaydes, he's likely to be even more tired than Blaydes. So what I'm trying to say to you is, it is possible that Blaydes slows down as the fight goes on, but if he slows down, it's more likely that Lewis will have slowed down way more, because it'll be Lewis, the guy that's being forced to work harder on the ground to defend himself, to carry Blaydes' body weight. Lewis's takedown offense and ground game is so bad, I just don't see any realistic scenario where he can keep this fight standing. So it's quite unlikely, man. Coco Diaz saying, give a man a fish and you'll feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you fed him for a lifetime. You do both, my friend. Keep it up. Oh, thanks a lot, Coco. I appreciate the kind words, man. Really, really appreciate it, mate. Mayday is asking for Blaydes by submission. Do you know what, mate? I did look at this one, but I always criticise Wiki Capping. But this is one of those props where I do think Wiki Capping avoids us making a bad decision. So if you look at Blaydes by submission at 10.0, that's usually the kind of prop that I like to go in, right? Go in on. Really high risk, really high reward, great odds. I like it. However, if you look at Curtis Blaydes' record, you can see that he's never submitted anyone. All of his stoppages have come through TKO and punches. This is because when he takes guys down, he's not interested in looking for the submission. He just constantly chips away at them with ground and pound. He doesn't even look to submit them. And so I don't like Blaydes by submission for that reason, because when he's getting takedowns, he's likely to look for a finish with ground and pound as opposed to submission. Nice one, Bufo, mate. Yeah, boys, if you could hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Nice one, boys. Alpha Vision is saying, what is your favourite pro... Alpha Vision's asking for the prop bet that's most likely to win. Let's take a look. I think Danny Chavez to win by knockout, mate. That's not my favourite prop, because obviously the odds don't give you as good of a risk to reward ratio. But I do think that is the most likely to hit. Let's take a look. Oh, Parlons, man. Just go. If you want to see what I look like without a beard, dude. Hey, there's loads of videos without me with a beard, man. Loads of them. Loads of them, dude. On my YouTube. You know what, Alpha Vision? This isn't the best. This isn't a very good card. This is not a very good card for pre-fight bets, dude. To be honest with you, it's not the best one for pre-fight bets. So I don't really have any rock solid bets to give you, man. I don't have barely anything for pre-fight myself tonight, mate. I'm just hyped because this is a really good card for live betting, and live betting's kind of like my bread and butter. Show the parlays. There you go, Kyle, dude. There you go, mate. Buffo on the beat is saying, what fighters have the most upside on takedowns aside from Blaydes for DraftKings purposes? Let's take a look, dude. Do you know what, mate? Not many. Not many, dude. Not many, mate. There's really not that many fighters who I think are likely to hit many takedowns tonight. Not many, dude. A lot of these fights are likely to take place standing. That's likely to take place standing. That's likely to take place standing. If Emmers is smart, he'll keep that fight standing by using his wrestling in reverse. That fight could see not necessarily a lot of takedowns, but a lot of transitions, because ONeil's aggressive on the ground. Her offensive wrestling's not great, but she's always looking to improve position. That fight's likely to take place standing. 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 That's likely to take place standing. That one probably as well. Yeah, dude, this is not really a card with many wrestlers, unfortunately, dude. It's a really weird one like that. Likely to be a lot of stand-up fights tonight. Let's get back to those parlays, right? But that is going to be it, boys. I think we answered all the questions. I think that was the quickest I've ever gone through. The fastest I've ever gone through questions, boys. So nice one to everyone for watching. I'm going to go grab some food. Artemius Harris is saying, Chris, what's your best under bet? Dude, so Artemius, I know you're one of my VIP members, mate. So if you go to the website, roll the mouse over the lab, go to over under bet, you'll find a couple unders in there for you, dude. Have a look at them, mate. I think you'll like them, and hopefully they come through for us, dude. So I think that's going to be it. Don't think there's any more questions to answer. Let's take a look. I think we're done, boys. John Panis is asking about bookies here in Australia. So if you go to my website, dude, and go to it's free, just go to community, roll the mouse over Team MMA BT, scroll down to the forum, and there's a post here titled Aussie Betters. If you basically, I've got quite a lot of Australians in my community. So if you just kind of sign up for a free account, doesn't cost anything, just literally click sign up, free account, and just post in the forum, my other Australian members will be able to advise you better than I can. It's tough for me because obviously I'm in the UK, so I'm not really familiar with what sites I like to use from Australia. But if you jump on my website, mate, I'm sure Moons and Dober and the boys will be able to help you out. Buffo on the beat. Would you do a celebrity charity boxing match versus Robin Black? Definitely not, man. Definitely not. I'm a total pussy. I have no interest in fighting, mate. I just like to make money. You know, I didn't get into... I wouldn't say I got into betting MMA because I loved MMA. I got into it because I was looking for a way to make money. So, yeah, I'm not into all the fighting shit, mate. You know what I mean? I'm a lover, not a fighter. I would not interested. Henry Wells is saying, what's your favourite bookies for live betting in the UK? The best one by a mile is Bet365. The other good ones in the UK are William Hill, Paddy Power, pretty good, although pretty low max bet limits. What else have you got? Like, Betway's pretty good. BetStars. You could just go here, man. If you go Odds Checker. I mean, look, they're all as bad as each other, right? They're all as bad as each other, boys. They're all terrible. They all shut you down when you start to make a profit. But if you go to oddschecker.com, you can see all these betting sites here. Do you know what? I will say this. I don't really have favourites when it comes to live betting. They've all got strengths and weaknesses. So Bet365 are the best betting site by a mile. Best max bet limits. Best platform. You know, they do shut you down. Like, they all shut you down, right? But they don't shut you down any worse than any other site. Bet365 probably give you more leeway than a lot of other sites. Sky Bet are a joke. Sky Bet are literally a fucking joke. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't been back to Sky Bet in years. They shut me down after I made like £100 profit. They're a fucking joke. Paddy Power, pretty good. They do have low max bet limits, so you can only bet like between £100 and £300 live per fighter. But they do take quite a while to shut you down, and they're quite generous with their odds. They're kind of different from the odds they offer on different sites. So Paddy are okay. William Hill are one of the better ones. They've got some of the highest max bet limits. Still not like a really high amount, but some of the highest max bet limits. And, you know, their interface isn't great. Their interface is one of the worst because they don't add live betting lines until the fight starts, and they suspend a lot more than they suspend the odds a lot more than some of the other sites. But because their max bet limits are reasonably high, they're decent. 888 Sport and Unibet are the same company. So 888 Sport, Unibet, again, they're decent. Their platform's really good. Their max bet limits are really good. The only downside to 888 Sport and Unibet is that they do shut you down pretty fucking quick. It's rare that you'll be able to earn more than £1,000 profit on a Unibet or 888 Sport account. So £1,000 is £1,000. But depending on what stage of your betting career you're in, sometimes earning £1,000 isn't worth the hassle of going to the trouble of getting a betting account to use. You know what I mean? Betfair, not great for live betting UFC, to be honest. Not great. BetVictor, pretty decent. But again, like Unibet and 888 Sport, they do shut you down pretty quick. Betfred are a fucking joke. They're a joke. They're exactly like Sky Bet, a fucking joke. They just literally shut you down. Like, as soon as you have 2 or 3 consecutive winning bets, they'll just fucking shut you down. They're a joke. Betway used to be a joke. Betway used to be terrible. Betway used to be like Sky Bet and BetVictor. Sorry, Sky Bet and Betfred. Betway have got a lot better. Betway are one of the best betting sites now for live betting on UFC. Decent max bet limits. They shut you down after you made like £2,000, £3,000, £4,000. It's all gravy. That's a good amount per account to me. They're not bad. Boyle Sports, you know, they're alright. They're not great. They're okay. Do you know what I mean? I would put them in a similar category to Paddy Power. In fact, I think they might be the same company. You know, they don't shut you down for a while, but then their max bet limits are quite low. We could go all day talking about betting sites, right, boys? So there's quite a good head start for you there with those ones, man. What have we got? Nice one, Christopher Pravata, dude. Cheers, mate. Oh, fuck, Kyle. Mate, you're scaring me, dude. You are scaring me. Kyle has said he's bet 10 units on each of the props and parlays. Jesus Christ, dude. Well, I hope that by 10 units you mean $10, dude. Because I would never bet that much money on props, man. Props are risky as fuck, dude. Props are risky as fuck. But good luck, man. Good luck. Henry Wells is saying, yeah, I've been restricted using William Hill for live. Got restricted on Bet365 a while back. It's a pain in the ass, right, dude? Pain in the ass. People always ask me, hey, if you're so good at this MMA betting thing, why the fuck have you got a fucking sell memberships on your website. Like, I don't understand. I'm like, bitch, please, do you even understand what these fucking betting sites are like? Soon as you start to make a little bit of money, the ban hammer comes down. It's brutal. For anyone that hasn't watched it yet, I've got a couple of videos on my site about this. If you go to my channel, watch, where is it? Watch this video here. It's hard to make money gambling, where I show you the fucking bullshit things the bookies do to you when you start to make some money on their betting accounts. Then I've got another one. Where is it? This one here. Check this one out, boys. This one, where I just basically show you what happens to betting sites, man, when you start to make a bit of money. The fucking bastardos. So watch those videos, boys. Alpha Vision saying, how do you judge the live bets? You looking for rounds won or who is likely to win? Honestly, Alpha Vision, mate, is such a complicated topic, dude. I could write a book on it. I actually before tried to do like a tutorial on live betting MMA, but it's impossible because it's one of those things where, because it's so complex, it's one of those things where when you start to explore one aspect of it, so say you want to talk about how to make money live betting MMA, say there's like one aspect of it you want to talk about, that one aspect is so complex that branches out into like 10 more things, and then when you go to explain that one thing that's branched out, there's like another 10 things to talk about, and you haven't even got back to baseline yet. It's just so complicated, dude. It's like it's just really, really complicated, man. Very, very complicated. It's a big topic. I've just been doing it for so long. I've been doing it for 12 years now, so it's kind of got all that fucking mad science up in my head. But yeah, it's complicated, man. It's a deep topic. Buffalo on the beat. Would you agree that Tom Aspinall looks like the little brother of Dan Hardy and Juan Espino? He does look. It does look. I can see that. I can see that, dude. I can see that, mate. Scott Louis is saying, do you make a new account on these sites? No comment, dude. No comment, mate. No comment. So Henry Wells is saying, was surprised to hear you say that Sky Bet banned you after making £100. Haven't had any restrictions yet, and I'm up 250-ish. What you gotta remember, dude, is the betting sites, when they shut you down and restrict your account, it's all based on AI and machine learning that looks at the activity of that particular account. So it's not like on any betting site, once you earn, you know, £1,000, you're going to get shut down, and everyone's going to get shut down on that site when you earn £1,000. There's so many factors that go into it, and it really is determined by when your account activity triggers the AI machine learning system to flag your account to a trader and say, look, you know, this person's probably going to cost us money. Do you want to allow them to continue betting with us? So for whatever reason, when I got shut down on Sky Bet for, you know, only making £100 profit, that was my personal circumstances, whereas yours obviously different. Everyone's different. So as an example, you know, I've had a Bet365 account where I've made £60,000 profit on a Bet365 account. I also know of Bet365 accounts that have been closed down on a £1,000 loss. There's no like black and white, you know, concrete rules. It's all very, very variable. No, Buffo on the beat. I've not used of TubeBuddy or VidEQ. I'm going to have to make a note of them, dude. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dude. I'll make a note of them, and I'll take a look at them later on. Let me know if you got any other tips, Buffo. I really appreciate it, man. Yes, SEO, very deep topic, mate. You know what? I don't do any SEO just because I don't get the time. But I would like to. I would like to. I would really, really like to. I would love to get more time to do SEO, man. John Panis saying Imavov versus Phil Hawes. This is good for live betting. If Imavov reaches round 2 and 3, live bet Imavov. Drew Pearson, I love Bufo on the beat. Me too, man. He's a cool, positive guy. I love Bufo as well, mate. Good to see you, Bufo. Chris K is saying, so when you get shut down, do they still pay you? Yes, mate. So in... Oh, God, I've been making money from betting on MMA for like 12 years now. And I can safely say, touch wood, that in 12 years, I have never, ever, ever had a bookie not pay me when I've had my account closed. Now, what they have started to do is ask for ID to prove that you're basically, you know, entitled to those funds. So in the past, going back sort of like 4, 5, 6 years, when you would have an account shut down, restricted, limited, whatever you want to call it, you would just literally be able to log into your account and would just withdraw your money, and it would go straight into your, well, not straight into your bank account. It would take like 3-5 days to clear. You just log into your account, hit withdraw, and you get the money back. It's slightly different on most sites now. Most of the time now, when you go to when you go to make a withdrawal from a site after being closed down, they'll ask you to send basically a picture of the card that you use to deposit like money into the account, a government ID like a driver's license or passport, and a utility bill. But if you submit those things, then they give you your money, no problem. I've never had a problem, man. Alpha Vision saying, if you help with SEO, I'll help. I'll help you with SEO if you help me with some live bets. Email me, man. Email me, mate. Email me, dude. Email me. What have you got to offer, dude? Email me, mate. You know what I mean? I'm always looking to grow, build relationships. I'm a busy motherfucker, so anytime anyone can help me out, I really appreciate it, man. Scott Louis saying, does UK have brick and mortar bookies? Yes, mate. They have tons of them. There's fucking hundreds of them, mate. Hundreds. And this is why, this is a really good point. So this is why, I don't know if you guys saw, but I put a YouTube video out the other day. I think it was last week. If you know. Right. If you haven't watched this video yet, boys, go and check out this video here. This one, We Crushed, with Clay Guida in the thumbnail, right? Basically, you know how, like, everyone's got specialities, right? So, for example, you know, you look at like soccer, right? Oh, is the stream still running okay, boys? Is the stream still going all right? Anyway, let's get into it. Let's just a little chat, a little story time, right? So, everyone has got their speciality. So, Cristiano Ronaldo would probably make a pretty shit goalkeeper, right? Tom Brady would probably make a pretty shit tight end. That's just the way it is. Everyone's got their own individual thing that they specialize in, and they're very, very good at. Well, boys, is the stream still working okay? Let me know, boys. Is the stream working? I'm seeing some error messages saying it's all fucked up. Let me know, boys. Is it working okay? Let me know, boys. Oh, Freddy, man. Freddy, bro. What are you doing, mate? Freddy, okay, dude. Anyway, let me know if the stream's running okay, boys. I think it might be fucked up, but if it's not, all right, we're good. Okay, we'll carry on. Freddy, mate, Freddy. Anyway, so yeah, it's funny shit. Nice one. Okay, so everyone's got their own speciality, right? I'm just answering Scott Lewis's question. Because Scott Lewis said, does the UK have brick and mortar bookies? This is a very good question. So, everyone's got their own speciality, right? Cristiano Ronaldo, he's an amazing winger, he's an amazing striker, but he's probably a shit goalkeeper. Tom Brady, he's an amazing quarterback, he's probably a terrible running back or a terrible tight end. Everyone's got their own individual things that they're good at. My speciality when it comes to betting on MMA is live betting. Since the beginning of time, I have absolutely crushed on live betting. Never ever had a bad run, ever. You look at the live betting profitability chart, since we've been tracking results back in 2016, all it does is go up. We never even have a bad patch. It's just constant profit. And I've been doing this for 12 years. I only started tracking results in 2016, but way before 2016 I was crushing it at live betting. This is my jam. This is what I do best at. Pre-fight bets, I'm not as good. I'm just not. You know what I mean? Like, crazy variance. I have these huge periods with huge winning runs and then dips, and then huge winning runs and then dips, and then huge winning runs and then dips, and then huge winning runs and then dips. And this has defined my performance on pre-fight betting since the beginning of time. And it's very, very frustrating because those dips disrupt compounded growth, right? And when you're on these long dips, these long losing streaks, you're not growing your money. Your money is just stagnant. It's not doing anything. If you've got a chart like this, you're consistently growing your money every single week, and you can start to rack up, really good, considerable gains using compound interest. But obviously the problem is you can only live bet online. And we know that when you consistently start to make money online on these betting sites, after a few £1,000 profit, few $1,000 profit, they shut you down. So it's really, really frustrating because I'm in this position where I've got this skill where I should be a millionaire. You know what I mean? Compounding gains like this, compounding a chart that looks like this, I should have made millions from betting on MMA, but I can't because I'm constantly going through this cycle where I'm betting, live betting these fights online, then my account gets closed down, then I have to withdraw the money and I'm back to square one. I can't keep compounding those profits because there's maximum bet limits on most of these sites of just, a few hundred or a couple thousand, which means I can't keep putting in those compounded gains. I'm constantly getting shut down, constantly being put back to square one. So back in 2019, I got really, really frustrated with this. And I was like, I put in 20 to 30 hours of work on fight research every single week. And while I am really, really proud of this chart, because it's extremely difficult to make money gambling, right? Anyone that can show any type of profit betting on anything, it's a massive achievement. You know what I mean? No matter what the chart looks like, any profit on gambling is impressive because it's very, very difficult to do. But when I spend 20 to 30 hours of research on fights every single week, I should be doing better. And I want this chart to look like this chart, where it's just vertical, non-stop profits. So back in 2019, I was like, realistically, no one knows what the best way is to bet on MMA. No one's got a fucking clue. We can speculate, but until it's like proven with data, no one fucking knows what the best way is to bet on MMA. So I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bet with lots of different styles, and I'm going to see which styles work. And then when I look at what styles work, I can do more of the things that work, less of the things that don't work, and that should help me improve my profitability on pre-fight bets. Because if I can get my profitability up on pre-fight bets to the level that it is on live bets, all my problems will be solved, and I will be able to make that fuck you money, and I will be able to make the millions that I should be making from live betting. Because if we can get the pre-fight betting chart to look like the live betting chart, we could take advantage of things like brick and mortar shops like Scott Lewis is talking about. We can think about, the walking into a casino, right? If you look at the max bet limits in casinos, you look at the pre-fight betting limits, the max bet limits, the liquidity on pre-fight betting is so much higher than it is on live betting, that if we can get this chart to look like this chart, that's when we fucking crush it and make that life-changing fuck you money. So with the lab, we've got all these different kinds of experiments that I set up in early 2020. And they're all, well, most of them are going really, really well. If we take a look at these, we can see that on this main event pick experiment, this is the only experiment that's down on the last, year. Over the last year, gun to my head, I've put a main event pick in for every single main event fight, and that's down. That's the only experiment that's going bad. All the others are going extremely well. If we look at the loose betting strategy, this is where, this loose betting strategy is literally where I say, forget about mathematical value, forget about implied probabilities. I'm just going to bet every single fight where I see a significant advantage for one of the fighters, or a clear path to victory for one of the fighters if they're a big underdog. And I'm just going to bet everything. Now, this chart hasn't been updated for February, but we're up about 10 units this month. So we're going to be up here somewhere when this chart gets updated. This has gone boom, boom, and then is up again. But these loose bets are really starting to change the game, because this profitability chart is starting to look like this profitability chart. And we've got a really good sample size now. We've got 200 bets in this loose betting experiment, which means we're taking like really, really positive steps towards getting our pre-fight betting up to the level of live betting. You look at this over-under chart, you know, where we've only been betting over-unders. Look at this again. Very, very, a bit of variance here, but very, very good profitability chart. You look at the even money chart. The even money chart is similar to the main event picks, where I am forced to bet every single fighter in an even money odds range. Every single fighter. And that's in profit. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, main event picks aren't working out. Maybe I need to avoid betting main event fights, which is hilarious because this dickhead is saying I owe him £700 for telling him to bet Gilbert Burns. Hilarious. The chart says I'm not particularly good at picking the winner in main event fights, which is ironic because that's what most people judge a performance on, right? But our best work is done on those prelim fighters, you know, those lesser known fighters where our research can really pay off. So that experiment's not going well. Loose betting experiment's going great. The over-under betting experiment is going great. The even money experiment is going great. Live betting is going great. Pre-fight betting is going great. And prop bet is going great. So now we're in a position where slowly we may start to be able to earn similar kinds of profit gains on pre-fight bets than we do on live, which will be a game changer for us, because then we can go into those brick and mortar shops, we can go into casinos with big piles of cash, have a lot of conviction in our bets, and generate similar kind of profitability to what we see live. So I'm very, very excited. And the best part about this is that we are taking now an investment index fund approach to betting, where in the past, where we'd only have pre-fight bets and live bets, if live bets did bad or pre-fight bets did bad, there were only two different kind of bets, right? You kind of need them both to do well to have a good weekend. If either of them performed badly, it would be a flat weekend. Now on the site, we have 7 different kinds of bets: prop bets, live bets, over-unders, you know, even money bets, loose bets, main event picks, which means even if 2 or 3 of them perform badly, the other 3 or 4 should pull things up. So what I'm getting at is hopefully we're getting to a point where, you know, it's a little bit too early on. We've only got a year's worth of data, but it's getting to the point where if we do this for another couple of years and we start to see this profitability continue to another couple of years where we build up a really solid sample size, we could be in a position where we can have just as much conviction in our pre-fight bets as we do from our live bets, and that's when we can just start to make filthy gains and make a lot of money. So I'm really, really excited. So yes, bit of a tangent, Scott Louis, but they do have brick and mortar shops in the UK, and to try and take advantage of that with a much higher max bet limits, trying to get my pre-fight betting performance up, and it's working, boys. We are taking steps to do it. Like I say, if this chart was updated, we'd be up here somewhere. So we're going to do it, boys. We are going to do it. I'm super, super confident. And with that, let's get these prop bets back up in the background. There we go. There we go. So let's answer some more questions, boys. Nice one, Bufo, man. Let's see, any questions? Broadcastful is saying, do you plan on doing football predictions again? Probably not, mate. Probably not, man. Basically what happened was, when COVID hit, I went from, like, you know, having a nice steady income, you know, 3 or 4 MMA events every month, everything's cool, to suddenly, you know, when the world got closed down through COVID and there were no sports, my income just completely disappeared straight away, like it just went. So what I used to do, like pre-COVID, I would put the majority of my time into making money from betting on MMA, and then any spare time that I would have, I would live bet NFL, basketball, or football to kind of diversify my income a little bit. But when COVID hit and there was no other sports, like all sports were shut down, it made me realize that I was like really overexposed. All my income came from like gambling related stuff. And if there wasn't any sports to bet on, I had no income. So it was a wake-up call for me, man, that I just need to diversify my income a little bit more. So pre-COVID, I would put all my time into betting on MMA and then any spare time making money on other sports. But now I've moved from, my main focus is betting on MMA, and that's my cash cow. That's what brings in, the majority of my money. But the other time I have, I've flipped now to trying to learn new skills to diversify my income a little bit, because we're in a lucky situation where, I'm not sure what it's like in the countries that you live, but in the UK, we don't pay taxes on gambling profits. So we're in this really fortunate position that, every few weeks or every, few months, when our betting accounts get closed down, we're blessed by having this big lump sum of cash with, which is tax-free, that, we're lucky to have, man. It's like tax-free lump sums of cash that most people don't have. So in the past, I'd be really stupid with this money. I'd be fucking really stupid. I would blow it on stupid cars that just depreciate a stupid amount. Or I'd blow it on holidays. Like, once you spent your money on a holiday, it's fucking gone forever. So COVID was a wake-up call for me that I need to be smarter with money. So now I'm just looking at ways that I could take that money that I earn from gambling to put it into other things to keep earning me money. So where in the past I would complain about not being able to continue to compound the gains that I make from gambling because betting accounts would close me down, now I'm looking at where can I put that money that I earn from gambling to compound in other ways. And it might be stocks, it might be crypto, it might be buying houses. Do you know what I mean? I'm very early on this journey, man. Very, very early, like less than a year on this journey. But that's kind of what I put my other time into now. Just because it was a big wake-up call that I was really close to losing everything. Like, if Dana White hadn't kept the UFC going, like, I would have been screwed. Like, say, like, you look at restaurants, right? You look at restaurants. Restaurants have been closed for a year. If the UFC would have had to stop doing events for a year, I would have blown all my savings. I would have had to fucking use up my bankroll, the money I used to bet with, so I wouldn't have had working capital to start betting with again when the UFC started again to hold events. So I'd be back to square one. I wouldn't have money to gamble with. I would have lost my business most probably because people would have gone away and found other things to do. So it was like a wake-up call, man, that I had to be a bit more diversified. So that's what I'm doing. And I will start to, even though I'm not doing content on other sports, I'll try and make some content on that stuff in the future. But I'm just conscious that I'm a noob. I'm a real big noob, and I'm very early on that journey. So until I start to prove to myself that it works, I don't really want to make content on it. But I'm just trying to get a bit more diversified, so I don't bet on other sports very much anymore. Oh, Anthony Kerwin, congratulations, mate. He's saying his return on pre-fight betting in the last 4 months was 167%. That is amazing, dude. But it's been flat since January. Do you know what, dude? These events have been tough this year, man. They have been tough, mate. Like, this weekend's card's tough for pre-fight betting. It's really hard. Like, next week's is tough as well. Last week's was tough. I think it's just hard at the moment, mate. So, Freddie till the end of time. Let's address Freddie. So Freddie is saying that that Burns. This is an interesting topic. So Freddie until the end of time is saying that Gilbert Burns was a very, very bad bet. Okay, let's explore that concept. Okay, let's explore that concept. So let's explore that concept, right? Where do I even begin with how stupid a thing that is to say? Do you know in round 1, literally like the first minute of the fight, when Gilbert Burns clubbed Usman with that right hand behind the ear and he dropped Usman? Do you understand that if Gilbert Burns had the power to drop Usman, it also meant he had the power to knock him out and get a finish? So if you look at that fight, right, you had Usman at odds of about 1.36, minus 278 for an implied probability of 74%. And you had odds on Gilbert Burns of 3.30, which is plus 230, which is an implied probability of 30%. You do realise that when Gilbert Burns clubbed Usman with the right hand and dropped him, that kind of proved in that moment that Gilbert Burns had the skills to win that fight. By dropping him, he came very, very close to winning that fight. So in a situation where you have Kamaru Usman, who's an elite fighter, a very, very skilled fighter, you know, very good everywhere. He's an absolute nightmare, the Nigerian nightmare. No one's taking anything away from Usman. But if you can bet Usman at odds of 1.36, which means for every 100 you bet, you only get 36 back. Or you could bet on Gilbert Burns, where for every 100 you bet, you get 230 back. When both Usman and Burns in that fight proved they have the skills to finish each other. Obviously, Usman finished Burns with, set up by the jab and then the eventual strikes that followed. And Burns dropped Usman. You do realise that if you think Kamaru Usman was a good bet in that fight, you're actually a fucking idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about. Because if both guys have proven that they have the skills to win, and you can bet 100 on one of them to get 36 back, or 100 on the other guy to get 230 back, even though the guy that you would have got 230 back lost, the very fact that he demonstrated he had the skills to win shows you that irrespective of the outcome, Gilbert Burns was the better bet. I'm going to say something a little bit crazy. If you bet Kamaru Usman, you got lucky. You got lucky because Usman was a terrible bet. In order to get value on someone in the odds range of 1.36 minus 278, they need to go out and put in a flawless performance. They need to have absolutely no way to lose. They need to not be in any trouble and they need to dominate. That's not the case here. Usman was in trouble in round 1. So the fact that you're kind of saying, oh, you know, Usman won, like, how could you not have known? Yeah, my friend, are you fucking stupid or something? Bro, you bet 100 on Usman and get 36 back. Bro, he almost got knocked out. Or you could bet 100 on Burns and get 230 back. I know what I'd prefer. But go read some books, bro, because I don't go read some books. I don't think the stuff we talk about on this channel is for you. Because if you can't understand that, bro, I can't help you. I can't help you. I try and explain it as best I can. I can't help you if that doesn't click. Let me see, boys. We got a lot of comments, boys. I'm flying through as quick as I can. What's up, Jake Capelli, dude? What's up, mate? Texas MMA is saying any YouTube suggestions to learn technical chart analysis. Yeah, sure, man. The two channels that I learned almost everything I know from. The first one are these guys, the chart guys, and the second ones are Crown's Crypto Cave. What I would say is I learned everything I know from those two resources pretty much. What I would say is Crown is a lot better, but Crown talks on like a really, really high level, So it's quite hard to understand what Crown is talking about. It's a lot easier to understand what chart guys are talking about. But Crown is kind of like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like, if you watch Crown, you might find him confusing because of the depth that he goes into. But he's really fucking good, man. If you can kind of like learn what he's talking about, he's a beast. He's a beast. But chart guys are like easier to learn from when you're just starting out, because their stuff is easier to understand. They explain things on more of like a basic level, and they don't go into as much depth as Crown. So while that doesn't make them, while I don't think that makes them as good at traders as Crown, what I would say is, from what I've learned over the last 5 years, technical analysis is not so much about learning everything. It's more about learning a few things that are really important and mastering them. So there may be like 20, 30 different aspects of technical analysis, right? Exponential moving averages, support and resistance, RSI, MACD, Ichimoku clouds, Fibonacci levels. You know, you could go on and on and on. TD sequential. There's like 20, 30 different things that we can call out when it comes to technical analysis. Most of them, all of them work a little bit, but most of them are kind of just noise. I think the chart guys are really, really good at zoning in on a few things that are really, really important and putting all the pieces together. Crown's great at that as well, but Crown uses a lot more, which can be overwhelming. So those two resources, though, man, are the two best resources where I learn everything from. All right, what we got, boys? Oh, nice one for the super chat, man. Nice one for the super chat, Tony. Appreciate it, mate. Thanks a lot, dude. Kyle, I don't think I'm not too sure if, do you know what, Kyle? I don't think books for technical analysis are going to be too helpful, only because technical analysis is such a visual thing that I think it's just way better to learn from like video tutorials where you can kind of see how to set up TradingView, what to look for. You know, you can quickly scrub through different timelines and back test things. I think it would be really hard to learn TA from a book. It's just a very, very visual thing. It would be like trying to learn, it would be like trying to learn how to play the guitar from a book, right? It would be very, very difficult. Whereas if you just looked at how someone held the guitar, how someone like tuned it, do you know what I mean? It would be a lot easier. It's a very visual thing. What kind of models would you like to talk about, Kerwin? Supermodels, glamour models, swimwear models? I'm a big fan of all models. Let me know, dude. Glare is saying, did you have a bet on Burns too? I did. So if you go to the loose betting strategy part of my website, you can see my bets for the last event were Simone, Gastelum and Burns. So we went 2-1 for just over a unit of profit, but I kept it really, really tight on last week's card just because I didn't think it was very good for betting. I just played it really, really small, and yeah, we went 2-1 for a small profit. So no problem, man. No problem. Definitely not too big on Burns, you know. Schizophrenic is saying, every event I've watched you end up not betting. Gotta keep things tight, man. I mean, there's a lot of bets here, dude. There is a lot of bets here. People annoyed about me saying Burns was the better bet, but the week before I said the bet, Volkov was the better bet. You know what I mean? There's plenty of bets in here, mate. I place a lot of bets, dude. I place a lot of bets, schizophrenic, man. You can see tons of bets. There's 200 bets here. You know what I mean? I place a lot of bets. Nice one, Broadcastful, mate. Mike MMA time, you're not to feed the trolls. I can't help it. I can't help it, boys. I can't help it. When people say dumb shit, I've got to fucking address it. I can't help it. It's just like an illness of mine. I can't help it. Nice one, Christopher Ham, dude. Cheers, mate. Yeah, that was weird, Texas. Texas is saying can't believe Burns laid on his back for like 3 minutes into round one. And do you know what is really, really weird? Like, I don't... Like, I am a total pussy, like we were saying earlier on in the stream. I am such a pussy, man. Like, I would never fight. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I am just a pussy. Like, I cut my finger, I cry about it. I'm the biggest pussy ever. So I hate to say derogatory things about fighters. However... You know, I think it was round... I can't remember. I think it was round 2. You know when Usman initially stung Gilbert Burns with a jab that kind of set up his downfall? As soon as Usman wobbled Burns with the jab, you just saw like a complete look of terror in Gilbert Burns' face. Like pure fear. Like he'd never felt that in a fight before. And he never recovered from it, man. He never recovered. So... To go back to what, who said it? To go back to what Texas MMA said, where it was weird to just watch Burns on his back for, 2-3 minutes. It was also weird how as soon as he got hit with that jab, just mentally he completely checked out. It was bonkers. You very rarely see that, man. You very rarely see a fighter look visibly shook, after getting wobbled like that. And he just never recovered. Martial arts fan saying, I think Usman retires, never been taken down. Having never been taken down, I could see that, dude, for sure. Broadcastful is saying you should start another experiment on to win by decision. I'm currently riding an 18% ROI for 20 plus fights. There were insane odds for decision fighters, 4.50 on Wonderboy versus Neil and 5.0 on Vittori. That's really interesting, man. Thanks a lot, Broadcastful. Thanks a lot, mate. I'll take a look at that for sure, dude. Oh, unlucky Christopher Ham, mate. Close to hitting that. Hey, you would have got big odds on Usman in round 4 and 5 as well, right? Oh, nice one for the super chat, Tony Picks. Thanks a lot, dude. Cheers, mate. Mark Koval is saying, is the duel... yeah, I use the duel, man. I do use the duel. Yeah, I do use the duel. Let's bring up what we got here. Pterodyne. I do use the duel, mate. You can see it here. The duel. Very, very powerful tool, man. Very, very powerful. Three commas? What's 3 commas, man? I've not heard of this. What is this? What is this? Yo, thanks for the heads up, man. I'm going to take a look at this. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for letting me know, Kyle. I'm always looking for new shit. So I appreciate that, dude. How much is it? Wow, that's really cheap. That's really, really cheap. Thanks a lot, mate. I'm going to look into this. At the moment, I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way. But you know what? I've been thinking, man. I've been thinking, like, if you could just... Okay, so I'll show you something, right? Let's go to Bitcoin. Let's look at, like... if I could program a bot... I don't have the technical knowledge to do this. But if you could just... Like, if anyone's a programmer out there, like, if you could just program a bot to long and short based off bullish and bearish divergences, right? Look at how much money you could make, man. So we've got this bullish and bearish divergence indicator here, okay? So bullish divergence signal there. Look what happens, price goes up. Bearish divergence signal there. Look what happens, price goes down. Bearish divergence signal there. Look what happens, price goes down. Bullish divergence signal there. Price goes up. Bearish divergence signal there. Price goes down. Bearish divergence. Price kind of doesn't really get that one great, but it doubles down on it here, and you would get that move from like there to there. Bullish divergence there, you get this move up. Bullish divergence there, you get this move up. Bearish divergence there, you kind of get that move down to the 21 EMA, but it's a messy area in here. If we go back a bit further, bullish divergence there, big move up. Bearish divergence there, you get the dip down to the 21 EMA. Bullish divergence there, you get this little move up. Imagine if you could program a bot to act on bullish and bearish divergences. You'd literally just have to let it run and maybe say like, mate, I don't know enough about programming bots, but like the amount of time I literally just sit there like this on the 5 minute, literally just sit like this, wait for a bullish or bearish divergence signal to come, and literally just fucking bang out a 50x long or short. You know what I mean, on the fucking bullish or bearish divergence signals. Because if you understand TA, it's really easy to kind of work out where your entries and exits should be as well. It's just, how do you program that into a bot? So, for example, you know, say you took this bearish divergence signal here and you entered somewhere on this candle. You could just say enter on the next candle, right? After this signal gets punched in. And then you can literally just say sell when it reaches the 21 EMA. As it happens here, it touches the 55. But say, for example, you enter here, right? So there's the signal on this candle. And say you just enter on the worst entry point, which is the very bottom. Which realistically, you probably would have got a better entry than that. But say you just entered there, and you exited the trade as soon as price action touches the 21 EMA there. That's a 0.18% gain. Say you did a 50x short. 0.18 times 50. You make 9% in literally like 3 to 5 minutes. You make 9%. Now you do that every fucking day. Every day. By programming a bot to do it. Pick your island. Pick your island. It's hard to do it like manually, because you have to sit here all day and just watch for these signals to pop up. But if anyone can program a bot to do this for me, I will pay you a lot of money. Anyone can program this for me, I will pay you a fuck ton of money. I just don't know how to do it. I have to do it manually, just sit here all day waiting for these golden triangles to pop up. And obviously there's so much on the, you know, there's so much to analyze on the jewel. If you could program a bot to act upon the jewel, holy fuck balls, you'd be balling. There's so much going on the jewel, man. But that's another level of complexity, I would imagine. Nice one, Texas MMA dude. Thanks a lot, mate. We'll get rid of that. Back to the props. Horror is saying, just got here, which bets out of these you liking the most? Do you know what, mate? It's difficult, Horror. It's difficult. So, at the beginning of the live stream, we were saying, you know, I definitely feel more confident in some of these bets. But the whole beauty of the prop bets is you want to take a spread betting approach to them, where, you know, you're kind of taking a roulette approach, right? Where if you go play roulette and you only put like $100 on 13 black, if the ball lands on any other number, you lose your $100, right? What you want to do is spread your money out across lots of different numbers and hope that one of your numbers hits. Because the strategy for prop bets is we're not trying to cherry pick, we're not trying to snipe. We know that the majority of these bets are going to lose. So our strategy is win 1, 2 or 3 for the card, and if we win 1, we'll be at a small loss. If we win 2, we'll be at a small profit. If we win 3, 4, 5, we'll be at a big profit. So it's really important not to try and cherry pick these. Instead, take that spread betting approach. Obviously, unlike roulette, the house has got the advantage. Here, we've got the advantage because we can actually use our research to only fish for those high value bets. But these bets are high risk, they're high reward, man. Nice one, Artem Labov. Really appreciate it, mate. Thanks for the super chat, mate. Thanks a lot, dude. Really appreciate it, Artem. Thanks, mate. Texas MMA saying, I really enjoyed the video you did on those bucks, and I like your new interest in the traditional stocks. Been focused on penny stocks lately. Let's get this money diversified. Yeah, got to, man. Look, if anything happened with MMA, I'd be screwed. You know what I mean? I would be absolutely screwed. So, yeah, gotta diversify, man. Well said, Texas, dude. Well said, mate. Good luck, GLR, mate. Yeah, Anthony Kerwan. Definitely DM me, mate. I would love to talk to you, man. Thanks, Anthony, mate. Mark Oval has said, I put about 50 hours into building a model for MMA DraftKings and results start regressing after probably 10 hours worth of work. So best advice is be very selective with inputs. I stretched my algorithm out to like 50 inputs out of hand. Now I'm confident 40 of them were just noise that look predictive. Gotta filter out your buy-ins as well, said boys. Henry Wells, do you have any longer term investments in crypto? I just own 1 Bitcoin, no touch, man. Locked away. 1 Bitcoin, that's it. Carl McClure said you can easily set up the trading bot to move on any signal you want. Jesus, man. I'm excited by this, mate, for sure. Thanks a lot, dude. Is this the one that you use? Let me know, man. Let me know, mate. This looks interesting. No way, man. No way. This is crazy. This looks pretty interesting because the price action does move in really robotic ways. So this is super interesting to me. I'd never heard of this, man. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, dude. I do love the potential of this because you could literally, like if you look at say the Bitcoin daily, look at how many times it tests the 13 EM8 and bounces off it. There. Like in a strong uptrend, you could just program it to buy off the 13 EM8 anytime it touches it, right? Artem, you know what? I think that the programming language for TradingView is called PineScript. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about this stuff, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know enough about how to program it, but I know PineScript is the language they use on TradingView. I don't know if that would mean you'd have to do it in PineScript. Not sure, mate. I don't know. Well said, Broadcastful. Broadcastful saying, for the people building MMA models, if you're trying moneyline stats-based models for MMA, don't bother. MMA isn't a stats-driven sport like football is. I agree, dude. I agree, mate. I agree. Mark Koval is saying, if every government everywhere outlaws crypto, Monero will likely be the one that doesn't budge and likely skyrockets due to its privacy. Do you know what, dude? I don't see governments outlawing crypto now, just because I think the genie's out the bottle, man. You know, you look at the hedge funds that are involved in Bitcoin now, like ARK have bought it, Grayscale. You know, Elon Musk has bought it with Tesla. I think it would have been easier to shut this shit down before all the big hedge funds and big companies got in on it. Now there's so many like popular influencers, Logan Paul talking about Bitcoin, the Sidemen, KSI. You know, Elon Musk has bought it for Tesla, Grayscale, ARK. God knows how many other hedge funds. I think the fact the genie's out the bottle is too big to put back in now. I don't see governments being able to outlaw it now, mate. It's too big. And that's it, I think, boys. We're done. No way. Spiz is just saying Closer and Pena's cancelled. No way, man. No cancellations. You gotta be kidding me. Apparently Draco versus Ahabi's cancelled too. Fuck off, man. These were good fights. These are really good fights. Please say it ain't so. No way. I'm not seeing anything, man. Pena saying, I hate this, man, but it's with a heavy heart that must inform you guys that the fight has been called off. That's some bullshit, man. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit, man. What about the Zahabi fight? Nightmare. Anyway, boys, that is going to be it for this live stream, I think, boys. That is going to be it, man. Nice one for everyone watching. Hey, what's up, Richard Dyson, mate? I'm having chicken pasta, dude. I can't fucking wait, mate. I'm starving. Oh, yes. Alright, nice one. Anyway, boys, for watching. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'll be back on Wednesday with another YouTube video. We'll be back Wednesday, boys. And big shout out as well for letting me know about this this bot. Bots are something I'm very interested in, just because I watch the charts all day, man. Literally stare at the charts for hours and hours and hours a day. And the price action does move in very robotic ways. So a bot that can be programmed is something I've been interested in for a really long time. So I'm going to look into this in a really big way. Because... oh wow, you can even program it to buy off support, sell on resistance. This is super interesting, man. So yeah, nice one for recommending this, boys. Anyway, have a great weekend, boys. I hope you crush it, and I'll see you on Wednesday when I'll drop another YouTube